Let's have a look at the last step in transforming data in Power Query Editor. The last step is combining queries. Combining means merging queries or appending queries. Let's have a look at what the difference is. I'm gonna first make these tables or these queries, look good. Let's undo this. This was a wrong way to start off. I'm gonna put the titles where they belong. I see there are grades in 3 columns. Grades are the same kind of data, so I want them to be in 1 column. I'm gonna call this subject, and I'm gonna call this grades. We're gonna have a look at the second query. I'm gonna put the titles in the first row. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Unpivot. There you go. I'm gonna call this subject, and I'm gonna call this grades. Alright, so we have 2 similar queries here. So this is an important tip for you. If you see queries that look very much alike, both in content as in the title, you probably need to append. For example, if you see sales 2022, sales 2021, sales 2020, you know that in the 3 queries there are sales, and you can append them into 1 query. So appending is combining tables together underneath each other. So because I say underneath each other, that implies they need to have the same column structure. So you see here, this query starts with student ID, subject, and grade. And the first query also is student ID, subject, and grades. They need to have the same titles, right? So you probably notice that I've written grades here in plural, and I've written grade here. And also the data type needs to be the same. Let's try to append as new these 2 queries with each other. So you click on this one and then append queries as new. Let's see, it's only 2 tables. The first table is this one, the second table is this one. I'm gonna do OK. And we see that we have student ID, subject, and there are 2 columns because there were 2 different titles. All right, I'm gonna delete this query. Delete. I'm gonna call this one grades, and I'm gonna turn this into a decimal number. Let's append queries again as new. Let's see how it goes. This one with 5.1, and apparently they are put in the same column. So Power Query Editor can live with the fact that this is a decimal number and this is a whole number. But if it were a percentage or a date, then it would probably not append it in the same column. All right, let's give it a name. Grades. There you go. Now we're gonna append in an existing query. So again, we're gonna put the titles right. There you go. Let's unpivot. These are the subjects. These are the grades. We have to add a column that says 2000. Let's make a column. Academic year 2022-2023. Okay, let's make it text. And let's do the same thing over here. Use first row as headers. We're going to unpivot. Subject grades. Let's add a new column. So we're sure academic year. Let's call this one 2021-2022. All right, so this often happens in practice too. I just gave you the example of sales 2022 and sales 2023. Then it's good to add a column just to indicate the year. All right, so when you append them into one single query, you can see the difference from which year the sales are. All right, they look the same. The structure looks the same, so we can start appending. If we take append queries, right? So here we only see 2022, 2023. If we do append queries, we're going to append this one. It's going to append to the existing query, to the query that we are in. So you see now that the query that ends in 4 was added to the query that ends in 3. All right, now let's have a look at merging. So merging means adding a column. So let's say we want to add the first name and the family name of this table to the table with the grades. Let's first fix the way that the query looks. One more. There you go. All right, this all looks okay. I'm just gonna merge these two together. Merge columns. Let's add a space in between and call it student name. There you go. You can merge content by matching a column that two queries have in common. So we see here the student ID, and we also see a student ID over here. Usually it's some kind of an ID or a key or a unique number that both queries have in common. Based on that, you can merge, so you can add a new column in one of the two queries. Let's unpivot. This is the subject. These are the grades. And we're gonna add the names to this one. So let's pick merge queries. We're not gonna make a new query, so we're gonna add it over here. We're gonna pick our information from this one. No, wrong. From this one. And now we're gonna indicate the column that both tables have in common and that we want to use to match the information. All right, this in general, it's best to leave it as left outer. I'm not gonna do the whole explanation in this video of this part. And then let's click OK. All right, the last step is you click on these two arrows that go in different ways and you select whatever you want to show. So we wanted to see the student name. Let's click OK. And there we have it. The title looks a bit strange, so we're gonna put it this way. And then where was the move button? There you go. We're gonna put this column in the beginning and maybe put it over here. That's it. The last part, well, it says here disable load in the data model. That's important too. In this example, we used all the information of this table in this one. So in principle, we don't need this table anymore in the next step. So if you use the information already in a different query and you don't need that query anymore later on, you disable loading. And the same thing could be done with these two, right? Because we made a new query out of it. Oh, apparently it should be done one by one. All right. Let's disable them from loading. And I think in this case, yeah, it was this table, this query that was already added to the previous one. That's it for combining tables, for combining queries.